October 12, 1944. 30,000 feet above Japan. The night air rattled a B-29 bomber hard. Inside the plane, Sergeant Bill Harris stared at his gun sight. His hands gripped the controls. He squeezed the trigger. Nothing happened. His turret motor whined. Then it stopped. Again. Another jam. Below him, black flak bursts climbed fast. Harris cursed. This had happened before. Too many times. The engines kept roaring. But the guns that should protect them kept freezing. Tonight, that could mean death. Japanese gunners felt sure this would be easy. They'd learned the B-29's secret weakness. Those big bombers had power, speed, and height. But their gun turrets failed. Motors locked. Gears froze. The Japanese waited for the moment. Then they'd strike. Smoke filled the sky. Tracers reached up. Harris hit the switch again. Nothing. He was helpless. And everyone knew it. The crew radio crackled with tension. Other gunners reported the same problem. Frozen turrets. Dead motors. They were sitting ducks at 30,000 feet. Here's the thing. This story gets even more insane. Before I continue, hit subscribe if you want more wild WW2 stories like this. What I'm about to tell you sounds fake. But it saved lives. And there are many more stories like it here every week. Because a few weeks later, those same bombers would fly again. And this time, over 200 gun motors would never jam again. All because of a fix so simple. People laughed at it. They called it the kitchen timer fix. This is how it worked. Before this, Japan felt confident. The B-29 was new. But new meant problems. The bomber flew higher than most fighters. Some missions reached altitudes where the temperature dropped to -60 degrees Fahrenheit. But its guns ran on electric motors. Not cables. Not hands. Motors. At high altitude, the cold was brutal. Grease thickened. Metal shrank. Tiny faults became big failures. Japanese pilots noticed. They wrote it down. Wait for the guns to freeze. Then attack. Early raids proved them right. Several B-29s went down with silent turrets. Crews complained. Commanders worried. Ground crews scrambled for answers. A bomber without working guns was just a flying target. And targets didn't come home. The American advantage was speed of change. Not just speed in the air. Speed in thinking. The B-29 was packed with tech. Pressurized cabins. Remote guns. Central fire control. It was like nothing before. This plane cost more to develop than the Manhattan Project. But all that tech depended on small motors. Each turret had its own. When they jammed, the whole system failed. Engineers tested heaters. New grease. Better seals. Different lubricants. Insulation materials. Nothing worked well enough. The cold always won. Some solutions helped for a few minutes. Then failed again. The problem seemed unsolvable. Then a young engineer named Jack Morgan noticed something simple. He'd been watching test data for weeks. Patterns emerged. The motors froze when they sat still too long. Cold crept in. Grease locked up. But when they ran, they stayed warm. Friction generated heat. Movement kept parts flexible. It was basic physics. But everyone had been focused on stopping the cold. Not on fighting it with motion. So Morgan suggested something crazy. Don't wait for the gunner to move the turret. Make the motors move themselves. Just a little. Every few minutes. Keep them warm. Keep them alive. Keep the internal temperature just high enough. How? With a timer. A simple timer. Like the one in his kitchen at home. His colleagues laughed. A kitchen appliance on a bomber? It sounded ridiculous. But Morgan pushed. The math worked. The logic was sound. And desperate times called for simple solutions. The military gave him a chance. They had nothing to lose. Installation was fast. Wire the timer to the motor circuit. Set it for small pulses. 3 minutes. 5 minutes. Whatever kept the motors above freezing. Test pilots reported the turrets twitched on their own. Like they were alive. Breathing. Waiting. The first real test came in November, over Tokyo Bay. A B-29 named Lucky Lady flew lead. Japanese fighters climbed fast. Gunners braced. The timer clicked. Every few minutes, each turret twitched. Barely moved. Just enough. The cold had no time to settle in. The motors stayed ready. When the attack came, Harris pulled the trigger. The turret spun smooth. The guns fired hard. Tracers lit the sky. A fighter broke apart. Another turned away. For the first time, no jams. Not one. Crews shouted over the radio. It worked. It actually worked. Harris couldn't believe it. His turret responded like it was back on the ground. Instant. Reliable. Deadly. The numbers crushed any doubt. Over 200 turret motors were fitted with the timer system within weeks. It took minutes per plane. No redesign. No new parts. Just wiring. Jam rates dropped from common to near zero. Before, crews reported multiple freezes per mission. After, many reported none. Japanese losses rose. American losses fell. Mission success rates climbed. One small change flipped the balance. The B-29 went from strong to deadly. Command sent word down the chain. Install it on every plane. No exceptions. The personal impact was real. Harris wrote home. He said the guns felt alive now. He said he trusted the plane again. He said he'd stopped feeling sick before missions. Japanese pilots noticed too. One wrote that the bombers had teeth now. He said attacking them felt like charging a wall of fire. That confidence they had vanished. The sky belonged to the Americans. For the first time, Japanese fighters began avoiding the B-29s. The hunters became the hunted. When Harris landed after that mission, he sat on the wing and laughed. Weeks earlier, he'd felt helpless. Now he felt safe. He never met Jack Morgan. He never saw the timer. But it saved his life. And the lives of his crew. 10 men who went home because a motor stayed warm. After the war, Morgan returned home. No parade. No medals. He went back to normal work. He once said people thought he was joking when he shared the idea. A kitchen timer? On a bomber? But war doesn't care about pride. It cares about what works. Morgan knew that. And somewhere, Harris knew it too. This fix wasn't alone. It was part of something bigger. America didn't just build more planes. It learned faster. When something failed, they changed it. Fast. Simple. Smart. From guns to engines to radios, small fixes stacked up. Each one made the whole machine stronger. While enemies refined old tactics, America reinvented. That was the real advantage. Not just production. Innovation under pressure. Here's the number to remember. By 1945, American factories built over 300,000 planes. And sometimes, the edge came from a part that cost almost nothing. A timer worth a few dollars saved bombers worth hundreds of thousands. That's the war nobody talks about. The war won with wire and common sense. Thanks for watching. Quick disclaimer. This story is for entertainment purposes only. Accuracy not verified. Do your own research. If you want more true WW2 stories like this, subscribe now. Next time, we're diving into another moment where luck met courage and improvisation changed everything.